Hello, my name is David Soffer. This is part 1 of Tyranny, Soffer versus Chase. Please pay close attention to what I am about to tell you because this is the most important video you will ever see. If you Google Soffer versus Chase and click on the first link for chasesucks.com, you'll find all the documents and information to support everything I am about to tell you. In May of 2014, I sued J.P. Morgan Chase and Select Portfolio Servicing, and I filed over 300 documents to prove fraud, oppression, and malice, among other things. There were no defense to my lawsuit, so they hired crooked lawyers to corrupt the judge and clerks of the court who dismissed the case without there even being a hearing, which is a violation of my civil rights. The lawyers themselves prepared judgments of dismissal and filed them with the court. The clerks then took a rubber stamp and stamped the judge's name onto these judgments of dismissal. They then simply went onto the online register of actions, made entries of dismissal, and changed the case status from pending to dismissed. That would have been it, except the lead attorney for Chase wasn't willing to go along with that. He was no ethical lawyer, but he wouldn't go that far. So they actually had to switch the case status back from dismissed to pending, which has got to be one for the books, because I seriously doubt that's ever happened before. When they did that, they shut down the whole Register of Actions online website while they removed the judgment of dismissal for Chase from the case file, because this was evidence of serious crimes and violation of my civil rights. In addition, the judge committed fraud and backdated the judgment of dismissal for Select Portfolio Servicing that had also been rubber stamped. So if you go onto Google and you do a search for Soffer versus Chase and just click on the first link for chasesucks.com, it'll take you to my page and you could see all these documents to prove what I'm telling you. But now here's the really bad part. I contacted every form of oversight imaginable, including the media. I contacted the DA, Internal Affairs, the F.B.I., the DOJ, the ACLU, every civil rights attorney from San Diego to LA and beyond, and no one would do anything at all. They had to shut down the whole online Register of Actions website. That should have alerted someone to investigate and make sure nothing wrong was going on, because I've never seen that happen before. It was down for a few days at a time on at least 2 different occasions. So the problem is there's no oversight with these courts. And in fact, 2 deputies showed up at my home the day before a hearing banging on my door. When I went to the window and asked them what they wanted, they said they had a warrant for my arrest, and if I didn't open the door, they were going to break it down. And then they started to try to break down my door, so I called 911 and I reported everything to the 911 operator and told her everything that was happening. So 2 police officers showed up at my home. The deputies were still there, and I had witnesses, but they let them go. So I contacted Internal Affairs. I told the sergeant in charge of those deputies exactly what was going on, and she wouldn't investigate. So here's the dirty little secret they don't want you to know. Believe me when I tell you this, because I have a lot of experience dealing with the courts and the government agencies. The dirty little secret they don't want you to know is that the police, prosecutors, lawyers, and judges all cover up for each other. They do not normally take legal action against each other whenever they can avoid it, and they cover up for each other. That way they can all get away with whatever they want. And most importantly, they have to, because the people at the top in control of the jobs are totally corrupt. So the good police can't report on the bad police, or they can and have been fired from their jobs. Same with the prosecutors. The good DAs can't report on the bad DAs because they could lose their job. It would be bad for their career, if nothing else. Same with the lawyers. They can't report on the bad lawyers. Judges can't report on the bad judges, and they have to cover up for each other or they could lose their job. So the judges don't take any disciplinary action against the attorneys, no matter how unethical or even criminal their behavior may be. So these rules of professional conduct are really rarely, if ever, enforced. And likewise, the lawyers, they don't file ethics charges against the judges, because imagine if they did, anytime they went into court after that, all the judges would rule against them. So this is the dirty little secret they don't want you to know. And again, if you Google Soffer versus Chase, and you click on the first link for chasesucks.com, you'll find all the documents to prove everything that I'm explaining to you. So, like I said, the case status had been switched back from dismissed to pending, but the same judge remained in control of the lawsuit. He was still the judge presiding over the case. The same clerks were operating in that courtroom. Nothing has ever happened to them. So when there's no oversight over these courts, which there clearly is not, I have to ask you a question. What makes you think that when a police officer is being prosecuted for murder, that the courts themselves cannot plant someone on a jury who they know will vote not guilty so that the police officer is acquitted? What makes you think that they don't do that? If they can get away with these crimes, if no one will do anything, then what makes you think they can't plant someone on a jury and rig a jury trial when a police officer is being criminally prosecuted? It sure would explain a lot, wouldn't it? In addition, I'm currently involved in a lawsuit with my homeowners association, and that case can be seen if you Google SD Court. You go onto the website for the San Diego courts, and you can enter in the case number. Here's the case. Ocean Crest Townhomes HOA versus Soffer. Case 2015. You have to switch the year to 2015 and enter in the number 13627. Right there. The reason I want you to do this is because this case is being held in the courtroom right next door to the one where my case against Chase was held. And this judge is covering up for the other judge. And my case with my HOA actually involves the police, the DA, for the crimes they committed. Because in 2006, the police broke down my door, would not show me a warrant. None of my lawyers would do anything to defend my rights. No matter how many times I asked them for a copy of the warrant, they wouldn't get it. And they wouldn't do anything to defend my constitutional rights. So I was wrongfully and maliciously prosecuted for a year until the DA offered me a plea bargain that was so good, just wasn't worth turning down, because my lawyer wanted $30,000 to prepare my case for trial, and he couldn't assure me that the DA wouldn't still drop the charges. Now this case is really important because it exposes the police for committing perjury in their declaration and then breaking down my door without showing me a warrant. It exposes my lawyers for not doing anything about it, and exposes the DA for their involvement and for wrongfully and maliciously prosecuting me for a year. The DA is currently covering this up right now, and the judge in this case is covering up for them. So please watch part 2 of Tyranny, Soffer versus Chase, and send this video to everyone you know. Thank you.